You won't believe this story. Now, look, history in our game, Duck, is really really important.
It's got soundtrack.
There are currently 1,800 credentialed media persons working on our game, Damo.
Yep.
99% of all of these media operatives do the right thing. To my knowledge, only one credentialed journo has ever had his credentials temporarily withdrawn. Mickey Warner. Triple M Footy has an eye for the unusual media operators, particularly behind the scenes, Duck.
Yep.
It is true that some media operatives, on occasions, have sullied all of our names. This particular offence is sure to taint the entire Triple M Footy product. Recalling history, we can all remember when Triple M forensically uncovered a major rort that was occurring under our noses. Red lights and alarms were sounding when a said media person became dehydrated because there were no more drinks left in the fridge. Shock, horror, our self-serve media tuck shop / canteen had been alleviated of all drinks.
Yes.
Drink stealer.
This person infamously became known as the drink stealer.
You can't name him, Brian.
While we were all busy during final quarters, this person would fill his 1976 Burley footy bag with the said drinks. There was some conjecture regarding his age, whether he is old or young. He was old. Triple M was also informed there was a young guy caught as well. Now, following on from Drinkgate came Gatorade Gate. Yes, a high-energy drink flogger. Sounds unreal, I know, but it's true. The Gatorade man's specialty was orange colour Gatorade. Extraordinary stuff. A modern-day high-energy drink thief.
It was Rocco.
Well, I can now report that despite CCTV hovering over the media fridges these days, we have on the loose a pie thief.
Oh, no.
A non-working media credentialed man and his mates. Yes, a guy who wandered into the Etihad Stadium media food area, and while journos were fixated on the game, he snuck up behind them and wiped out the entire pie warmer just before they would be devoured by the press at half-time.
Wow.
While this was not captured by cameras looking over the high-energy drink cooler, I decided how disgusting this was and that I would launch an immediate investigation, as I did not think it fair that 1,800 media would be sullied with such outrageous acts. Last Saturday night it took place. I know this because the journos told me they were hungry. It was the Western Bulldogs North Melbourne game. Now, after tracking small pieces of pie pastry to a nearby private box, they tell me, my agent tells me, that on opening the door and checking who was inside the private box, the one said, who's now known as the pie stealer as a result of the pastry pieces, James Brayshaw.
Oh, no.
There was a small dot of pastry on the side of his face hooked by a bit of tomato sauce, and we now have a cool drink flogger, an energy drink flogger, and a pie flogger, depriving all of Melbourne's medias. JB,
Bristle.
Is this true?
That is a great build-up. The only issue you've got is there was absolutely nothing hidden about it. I came into this box. I came into this box and said hello to everyone because I was sitting up here in the chemist warehouse box. And on my way out, I said to the man who patrols the area, "I'm having a pie."
What about this?
He said, "Yeah, no worries, help yourself." So I took one.
I think you just admitted it.
Oh, I happily admitted.
Box 67. It was a
Mario Tascone box.
It was a non-serviced private box.
That's
So
true.
therefore,
Not catered for.
exactly. So,
Wow.
as he come up the hallway into the box,
You would never have done this, Peter.
press are watching the game, and not just one or two, or even the top shelf. All 5 shelves were exhausted of pastries.
Fed the whole box.
That
Fed
is
the
the
box.
greatest lot of
Fed
crap
the
of
box.
all time.
Wow.
I happily took a pie, that's true, but that was it. We set Nath Brown a task a while back where we basically said to him, if you were still playing, because he was pretty good on the lip, Rui, as you remember, when he played Brownie, he had plenty to say out in the ground.
Very good.
So what we said is if you were playing right now and you were playing against all of the current 18 teams, who would you target verbally and what with? And fair to say, it sent a ripple through the whole competition. Every
What the hell, son?
Every club enjoyed it.
People bit back.
There was biting back. So
Sam Butler.
Sam Butler wasn't happy.
So what we've done now is gone again and basically said to Nath, what task did we set you, Nath?
Well, we thought it'd be a good idea. Who are the players that really enjoy their own work? Who are the players that, if given the chance, would be drinking their own bath
Got
water?
right ahead of themselves.
Yeah, got right ahead of themselves. And I don't see anything wrong with this.
No,
I'm of the opinion, before I do this, it's not a negative thing. I actually like the players that are very genuinely happy
Well,
with
the
themselves.
great Shane Warne has that as one of his life rules. Always get ahead of yourself.
Exactly. I stood up in a pub in South Melbourne in 2005 when we were 7-2, and I was flying, and I told our entire list that I was on my way to winning the Brownlow and the Coleman that year. And I broke my leg the next week,
That's it.
and I tell you, shit happens, Jim.
It
That's
does.
That's what happens.
That's what happens in life.
So I tell you one person, and I wish Brian was still here. I know he'd be in the car, and a lot has to go out to Brian for this. Jakey Stringer. He's 23. He's an All-Australian. He's won a premiership. But I don't blame Jake entirely. He's got a little bit ahead of himself, poor old Jake. And I genuinely blame Brian because I think Brian has murkied the waters that Jake Stringer is currently drinking himself. And so Jakey Stringer is one player that loves the fact that he's been called the package, but unfortunately at the moment, like Australia Post, poor old Jakey Stringer just isn't delivering on the weekends.
There's the first one.
We spoke about Alir off the top of the show. He burst onto the scene, Duck, last year, and he was playing some enormous football. And I love no fuss football, good football, got the job done. I went up to a game up in Sydney later last year when he was actually going okay, and he had the biggest set of headphones on when he was walking around the ground.
I saw them.
LeBron
They were
at the
white,
start,
Yep.
I thought that was okay. He'd walk around, he'd listen to some music. This is about an hour and a half before the game. What sort of alerted me to the fact that Alir enjoys his own time is the fact that during the actual warm-up where they actually kick the ball to each other and they do tackling drills, poor old Alir still had these massive, giant headphones on. So just a man who really enjoys his own work. Another one I blame Brian on is Orazio Fantasia.
Oh, the
Razzle.
Araz.
Now, I don't completely blame Orazio, but
Razzle.
when you are asked in an interview if your nickname is actually a Razzle Dazzle, he did not do anything to hose that down. He enjoys the fact that people call him the Razzle Dazzle. So he's another man that is very, very
Branded
happy
himself
with
Razzle Dazzle.
Branded himself
Yeah, he did.
Razzle Dazzle. We spoke to this man off the top of the show, and Paddy Dangerfield is a man who it was unbelievable last night, but let's be honest, he enjoys his own bathwater, and I thought he gave a reverse bathwater last night. He gave credit to everybody else.
A
in
reverse
that side,
bathwater.
A reverse bathwater.
He
I like-
drained
And
the
you know
bath.
what he was trying to do? He was trying to get everybody to go, no, Danger, you did it tonight. You were the man. You did it. So it was reverse. But if he was a bathwater drinker, and I think he is, Duck, it would certainly be an organic bathwater. It was be friendly to the environment for Danger. But Liam Jones had an outstanding. Had an outstanding.
Jones?
I just thought that he may have got ahead of himself, Dave.
yeah, last game.
Liam Jones.
He was flying along. He was nearly off the list. Nobody had ever heard of Liam Jones,
Round
and he had one
23.
of the great games
Fair old
until
Round 23.
until Buddy Franklin actually pulled the plug out, and there was no bathwater left to drink for Liam Jones in the last round.
I just think he had a bad
When
day,
he
Brownie.
kicked
I don't
in.
think he's...
Not the only man to have Bud take him to task.
No, and I thought another man, Adam Treloar, he's very, very confident in what he does. And any man that's happy to go on TV and say that my pre-game ritual is before a game, I get in the bath, I shave my left leg first all the time while I watch The Simpsons, is a man who's probably drinking his own bath water
With shaved leg.
while he's there. And I thought, lastly, to give a mention to the great Duck here, he is he's exclusively drinks his own bathwater, and you are the model of what every other player looks to at the moment as a bathwater drinker.
the benchmark
The
bathwater
benchmark
drinker.
bathwater drinker.
No, it's not good for you drinking bathwater. My little Charlotte.
Duck's taking this conversation literally.
She's been grabbing the when she's in
She
the
started
bath.
young, Ducky. You were about 18 when you started.
She starts drinking, and I tell her it's dirty, and it is dirty. You shouldn't drink your bathwater.
You know, you remind me of Dolph Lundgren. He's a man who probably drank his own bathwater, got a bit ahead of himself. Now, he's a big, strong action man who doesn't do comedy that well.
Oh, no.
He does those segments very well, Jim, doesn't he?
Oh, no.
You get the feeling he really thrives on it.
Yeah.
We've got a sting coming in a sec, host, but before we get to that, a few days ago, we asked our Twitter and Facebook fans, of which there are millions, to email us, pardon me, with any life or sporting advice that you require from our main man, BT. Email your questions to Dear Brian.
I'm not into this.
At M as in mmm.com.au. So here we go.
When you've got a problem,
Don't make a big deal of it.
and you need a wise head,
I must speak.
there's only one man who can help.
Come on, you nitwit.
Welcome to Dear Brian.
Now,
Stinging department in overdrive.
this is Paulie here.
It's-
Dear Brian.
Oh, come on.
I'm in, and they ask, it's interestingly enough, Purple, everyone who sends one of these in, and we've already had lots, always ask it to be announced that way. Yeah. Dear Brian, I'm in a D-grade basketball grand final next week. I've worked pretty hard all year to get to this point.
Obviously not hard enough.
Now I'm faced with a conundrum. Oh, the word conundrum slid in there. Over the last couple of months, I've latched onto what I think's a pretty good thought. And she's invited me to go to Lake's Entrance for the weekend. She's a genuine belter, says Paulie. He reckons a solid 9.5 out of 10.
Right.
And now I don't know what to do. Do I either burn my mates, and he's in D grade, or do I not go and let this magnificent new lady in my life down? Please help, Bristle. P.S. This is from Paulie. I can't tell you which club I'm playing for, otherwise my teammates will know it's me and slaughter me.
See if you can get the game shifted to Lakes Entrance.
What does he do? Does he play in the D-grade basketball granny, or does he go to Lakes Entrance with his new girl?
Look, there's not many grand finals, so you don't come across too many grand finals, I wouldn't have thought. And I would have thought a grand final in basketball, D grade, F grade, doesn't matter.
Don't come across too many 9.5 either.
What's he doing, Brian?
Oh, boy. Well, given that I don't think he's in great form in the basketball, and he's probably starting the 8th or 9th man, go to Lakes Entrance, mate.
All right. Dear Brian at mmm.com.au. He will deal with these every week.
Every week, yeah.
Every week. Every Saturday we'll get one out. So if you need Bristle's help with any life problem you've got, Dear Brian at mmm.com.au. Now, Dear Brian is... Thank you, Brian. It's something we've been now doing for a week. We had an issue last week where
By the way,
a young man was picked in a 4th grade basketball grand final, or he could go to Indented Head or somewhere with his missus.
I believe he
Lakes Entrance, I think.
with
Lakes Entrance.
with a 9.5, and
Yes.
I believe he chose to go on the date.
He went to Lakes Entrance.
Yes,
He didn't
went
play
to Lakes
in the
Entrance,
4th grade grand final.
and they won.
On the back of Bristle's advice.
And they won the GF.
All right, so what we do is we get you emailing us with any inquiry, life inquiry, that you think Brian can help you with, and that's what Rick of What's Only has done.
I also heard that she left him.
Oh,
So,
now you're
work
laying
out.
the mayo. All right, so here we
Strikes
go.
me as they should be directed to Duck.
Rick of What's Only has written in, Dear Brian, have always loved your work. I have an issue with my next door neighbour and have had the same issue for some time, but it's come to a head. Every week on a Monday, he sneaks stuff into my recycling bin, which fills my bin up to the brim. Start of the week, I've got the rest of the week with a full recycling bin. Any advice would be greatly appreciated, Bristle. I know you're a very calm and calculated type of person. Cheers, Rick of What's Only. So, Bristle, he puts his bin out on a Monday. It gets emptied. By the time he comes home from work to bring the bin back in, the neighbour's already put stuff in there and he's got no room to move for the rest of the week. What do you suggest he do?
It's complicated. It is complicated.
Now, this is a community service you're offering here, Brian.
This is the yellow bin, is it? This
And the recycling bin.
Look, I'm not sure, JB, but
Yes.
it strikes me as the neighbour isn't a great style of person.
No.
And that perhaps, there's a little bit of friction there.
Yes.
So I'm not sure that I'd battle bin against bin. I'd probably go to the backyard, pull a picket off the fence.
But that's your fence too.
And I believe the guy writing, he has chooks.
Rick
does he
of
not?
What's Only?
Yeah.
He may have.
So a picket off the fence, let the rock wheeler in next door and let it go to work on the... Have a little-
Eat his chooks.
I believe he has chooks.
Just chase them, not eat them. Because he's a trained non-eater of chicks.
Oh, no.
Just let him loose to chase and just get the payback that way. Put the picket back up once the bin shit stops at the front. Go with something.
Put the Rottweiler in amongst the Rick's neighbour's chickens.
But train the Rottweiler to not eat
Oh,
them.
no.
I couldn't think of anything
Dear
else.
Brian, that's the gold you get, don't worry. So make sure you keep the inquiries coming in.
And when they write to you, Brian, Jim, how do they actually say it?
Oh, right, thank you, Brian.